Hello and welcome to City Beat, your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and today's show is all about creating and maintaining a positive image for Rocky Mount. We'll have three different segments on the show today. We'll speak first with Don Williams and Dorsey Tobias about the Positive Image Action Group, which is a part of our Twin Counties Vision and Strategic Plan process. We'll also speak later about the Ambassadors Program, a part of the Positive Image Action Group, with Pamela Casey and Daryl Struthers. And finally, we'll have three members of the show today from the Community Anti-Litter Coalition. Yes, we are doing our best to keep Rocky Mount clean. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman. More of City Beat is coming up next.
Did you know that a total of 152,800 people live in Nash and Edgecombe counties? That's a larger population than High Point or Wilmington.
How many local artists are in the Twin Counties? More than 600 talented people are creating wonderful works of art in studios and workshops all across Nash and Edgecombe.
Hello and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and let me take you back to 2011. Most of you remember that was the year that Nash County, Edgecombe County, and the city of Rocky Mount embarked on a quest to create a shared vision for the region, the Twin Counties Vision and Strategic Plan process. Now, the process was the result of a 2009 study by Forbes magazine, which listed the Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Statistical Area as one of the 10 most impoverished areas in America. We had to do something. So to start the plan, we hired SKIO, which was the firm who has facilitated the entire process. We had a community partners coalition, which was made up of the three government entities. We had a core team, which provided ongoing coordination, and we had study circles, which were volunteers from throughout the community, which provided input for the plan. Now, the plan consists of a vision statement and 8 action groups. These action groups are charged with implementing the goals of the plan. And some members of this action group, the Positive Image Action Group, are with us today, Don Williams and Dorsey Tobias. Well, first of all, thank you both for joining us on City Beat today. We're glad to have you. Dorsey, let's start off with you. What is the Positive Image Action Group and what is it all about? What are your goals?
Thanks for having us. So this has been quite the experience over the last 3 years. As you know, the Twin Counties visioning process is what really got this whole ball moving. Ours is the Positive Image Action Group. So many people who participated in those public study circles during the visioning process talked about the importance of our positive image, that we have, our citizens can be our own worst enemies as far as how we talk about this area, and then we know that we have an external reputation problem in some ways. So this was really a deliberate effort to have an internal campaign and an external campaign to change the perception of our area. So from the Twin Counties visioning process, we naturally already had a strong committee of about 20-25 people from across the region who were interested in being on this action group. And they're all very marketing minded, very passionate, very diverse in age, gender, race, profession, and geography within the Twin Counties, which was so important because this is all about bringing the whole region together to market ourselves as one. We used the public feedback to guide us in everything we did. We held public brainstorm sessions. We really wanted the people of this region to feel as much a part of this as they could. And we came down to having put together a plan and turned it over to Lewis Advertising, who very generously put their creative team on it because they're the experts. We all think we're experts, but they're the true experts, and they came and put together an actual creative design, which Don will talk about in a second. And I'll just say also that this has become much bigger than just a marketing and communications plan. It really has become a movement within the Twin Counties. And when we first started talking about it in more detail about a year ago, the chambers really embraced this. The business community said, this is something we've got to make happen. So we started fundraising. We went on several tours around the Twin Counties, and really it's been the business community that has led this to get us to the point that we are now. As well as just citizens. We had several citizens who said, I'm not a business owner, but I believe in this. I want to give you $5,000 or $500, whatever they could. And so it really has become so encouraging to see the people of this region working together and seeing the opportunity in front of us and what this will bring to our region. So we just launched the internal phase in July, and maybe Don can talk about that.
Definitely. Tell me a little bit about the internal phase as well, because I see so many things when I'm going around the area on billboards and all that good stuff.
Well, what we did, Tamika, is we have a multimedia advertising campaign in the traditional sense. We have TV, we have radio, we have newspaper, and we have billboards all running in support of it. We have yard signs, we have different things like that. Dorsey, working with Brian Rankin, has also put together a social media platform. We have a wonderful website, and then we're on Facebook and Twitter, and we're using all the social media avenues too. The primary purpose, as Dorsey said, is to get people thinking positively about the area. And what we finally, it took 3 years of debating and testing ideas on each other and looking at different concepts. But what we finally settled on, we wanted to talk about the future. We did not want to talk about the past. We also knew we didn't want to talk about issues that could be controversial. We didn't want to talk about anything that wasn't focused on telling people some very positive, good news about the Twin Counties, about Nash and Edgecombe. And so what we did is we set out to find out what were the interesting facts about our area. And from that came the series of 29 factoids that we came up with that talk about the Twin Counties. We also, as Dorsey explained, we came up with a logo and a slogan to sort of frame it all within. And I'll describe that logo for you in a little while, but it helps position us on how we all are going to be in this together, how we're working together. Our slogan is "Here's to Success," which is nothing but talking about the future. In the future, we're all going to be successful if we all work together.
And how did you come up with the different factoids and the people who talk about those in the different ads as well?
Well, we started with the facts, and one of the things we discovered was everybody had information about Nash County, everybody had information about Edgecombe County, City of Rocky Mount has information about City of Rocky Mount, but nobody had ever stopped to put the numbers together. They always talked about us as a Twin County region, but they never put the numbers together. So it was a simple matter of arithmetic. It was simply finding what was the total retail sales in Nash County, what were the total retail sales in Edgecombe County last year, put them together and you got 1.2 billion. Well, 1.2 billion all of a sudden sounds like a very positive big number. So that was what we were able to do, is just take the numbers for Nash and Edgecombe and put them together in a way that made an interesting fact. We found all sorts of facts that I think were surprising to some of us. I had no idea there are 59 public parks in Nash and Edgecombe counties. You know, I live in Rocky Mount, so I think of the city parks here. But Nashville has parks, and Tarboro has parks, and Pine Tops has parks, and Bailey has parks, and I mean there are parks all over the Twin Counties. So it really is a fact that I think most people will find enjoyable to know.
They are very interesting facts. Were you going to add something, Dorsey?
And that's really the point about parks is a way to talk about really the main goal of this is to get people thinking regionally, and not that people think, oh, positive image campaign, it's fluff and we're whitewashing problems. We're not at all. We know we have problems. Every community has challenges. That's just the reality. But what we've got to have people realize is that there's also a lot of great stuff happening here and a lot of great amenities that we have that we all should be proud of. And knowing that, you know, I may live in Rocky Mount, but I can go to Spring Hope and go to the Pumpkin Festival, and then I can go to dinner in Tarboro, and you know, all of these great things are right here in what I still view as my community, even though it might not be my zip code or whatever. And so I think part of the website that Don mentioned is getting people to think about those things and actively seek and share positive information. So on our website, here's to success.org, there is a follow page, and you can see all of the different channels that are already existing. We didn't want to recreate the wheel. We know there's lots of websites and Facebook pages and Twitter. So we really aggregated all of those so that someone who lives in Bailey or Tarboro or Rocky Mount can easily see all of these different channels they can follow. And I can tell you myself that I've created my own little Twin Counties news feed on Facebook. So at night when I'm going to bed, I just scroll through and I learn 10 new things that are happening in this area that I never would have known otherwise. And I feel like I'm a pretty plugged in person, but it's just there's so much to know and do. And now, you know, I take my family all over this region and we've got so much to do here. But there's also network of Twin Counties communicators, so all of the people like yourself who are in communications positions with these various municipalities or chambers of commerce or economic development groups, the community colleges, they are all now actively sharing information with one another so that it's reaching more audiences, so that someone who's sitting in Tarboro won't just see what's happening in Tarboro. They now have access to knowing what's happening all across this region.
I want to go back just a little bit too about the logo.
All right.
Don, if you could explain this logo to us.
Well, the logo sort of, what happened is we started looking at a map of Nash and Edgecombe County to figure out what would give us inspiration to get started, and we realized the map itself is what the inspiration we need. So we've just taken two shapes that approximate the shapes of Nash County and Edgecombe County, put them together. Then we put the lines that are running through it are symbolic of the highways and the river that runs through the two counties and joins us together. But we also extended the lines out past both the county shapes because we're reaching out and as well as welcoming in others. So that's part of what we're trying to do here. We use the Twin Counties as the name of our brand. It is our brand. It's what we want to be. So the reason we did that is if you're in Pine Tops, if you're in Middlesex, if you're in Castalia, it's still the Twin Counties. So it's usable universally across all the geography of the two counties. And we have Here's to Success tied into it as well, because everywhere they see the message about Twin Counties, they want to see the words Here's to Success to go with it. So that's basically how the logo, it's a simple, somewhat elegant graphic, I think, and it really does explain who we are and why we're so significant as two counties together as opposed to two counties separated. And
because we didn't want to, take the identity of all of these unique communities, because that's what this is all about, is the showing the unique communities within this great region. And this is not at all to overshadow their individual identity. So we think it's great that Nashville has its own marketing campaign and that Tarboro is developing its own tourism development authority. Those are all wonderful. We made the logo such that you can swap out Twin Counties with your own municipality name, community college name. I'm sure you've seen that Nash County has inserted Nash County there and is using that in all of their marketing collateral. It's just a way to show that you're part of this region. This is the regional identifier. You're part of this effort. We're working together as one region. We also made available an email signature. We had a lot of businesses, like a law office, for example, that said, I want all employees in my law office to have this at the bottom of our email signature that links to this website so that we're getting the word out too. So we created an email signature and lots of other media assets that are on our website that anyone is free to download.
It's definitely catching on. Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce, I've noticed that they've adopted it as their logo as well. And I've seen the yard signs all around. But the external campaign, when will that phase begin?
Well, we're winding down the internal phase. If we, as Dorsey said at the beginning, if we didn't start talking positively about ourselves, why invite people to come over here and take a look at us to hear something negative? So we're trying to get everybody thinking positive. We're hoping it's going to start within the next few months. We're actually going to have, Dorsey and I kid about is either phase 1B or 2A, but one of the next steps we want to do is start focusing on these 19 wonderful communities that make up the Twin Counties. So we're going to do some little video vignettes about the communities themselves, because when people come in, whether they're coming from Greenville or Raleigh or wherever to take a look at us, we want them to know there's more than just the city of Rocky Mount or the towns of Tarboro and Nashville. We want them to know there's a whole lot of interesting places to see and visit when they're here in the Twin Counties. So that's first step after we finish the internal phase. Then we're going to go with an external campaign, and again we'll be taking that and targeting it in the Triangle and targeting in the Greenville area. If you look at commute times those people are dealing with, including Greenville, if you're looking at housing cost and cost of living and quality of life issues and so forth, we have a great benefits for those people. We offer a lot of opportunities, a lot of unique features that make family life here special, and I think we can do a good job of reaching out and saying, come on down, and that's what we'll be trying to do. We realize we're dealing with a presidential political year, so advertising is going to be a little bit trickier than in normal years, but we're going to figure out solutions to that as well.
Okay. And as much advertising as you have going on, it takes money. So what types of organizations have you reached out to? How much have you raised up to this point?
We have raised $115,000 so far, and our goal is $200,000 to be able to fully implement the external campaign that we're getting into. It has been incredibly encouraging to see people, from a young person who's right out of college that feels that they want to invest in this, and I mean, I know a young person who invested $1,000 in this. That's a big deal. Then we've got businesses who've invested up to $25,000, and so all of those folks are listed on our website. You can see all of their logos. That was our way to say thank you for your investment in this. We are still continuing to fundraise, and we're working with each of the municipalities to see what they can commit to this as well. But so far, it has been completely raised by business and citizens. I do want to mention another part of this, which is the ambassadors program that you'll be talking about with Pam Casey and Daryl Strother. That is a part of all, both internally and external. We've got to make sure that our hospitality industry is able, really everyone in this community is able to talk about the positive things happening here, so that when a tourist comes through for our incredibly successful sports complex and they're here with their kids on the weekend, they go to a restaurant and the waitress can say, let me tell you what you can do while you're in town here. So that, I know you'll be getting more details from them, but that is a huge undertaking, and we're so appreciative of Pam and Daryl for leading that charge.
Okay. So are there other ways that people can assist?
Well, I think the biggest way they can assist is to get involved and encourage to go to the website, to find out all the things that are going on with Here's to Success. I think the other thing they can do is unfortunately all our yard signs are used up on this phase, so we don't have any of those left. But if they can find ways to extend the brand beyond here, if they look at the videos on herestosuccess.org, and click on those and send them around to friends and neighbors, that would be a wonderful benefit for the campaign. So it's just trying to get the word spread around as uniformly and as frequently as we can. That the campaign will be winding down at the end of September. I do want to say one thing that I think is, in all the 40+ years I've been buying advertising in the Rocky Mountain area, I've never seen anything where the media was so generous. For every dollar we were able to invest, they gave us $1.30 back. So for every dollar we put in, we've got $2.30 worth of advertising back. And I think my hat is off to the media. It was every newspaper, every radio station, Suddenlink, WHIG, everybody has stepped to the plate. All the radio stations, all the billboard companies, everybody has stepped to the plate and said, let us know what we can do, because they recognize if we all have a more positive image together, and we bring new business here, and we bring new people, new residential customers here, we're all going to win together. So we've all got a stake in making sure people feel positive about our area.
The whole nature of this campaign is that it's a grassroots initiative. There have been campaigns in the past that maybe has been, oh, that's City of Rocky Mount, or oh, that's the Chamber of Commerce, or oh, that's Nash County. This is the first time that all of these communities across our region are working together, and it's the citizens and the business community leading the charge. And so because that is grassroots in nature, our simple ask of everyone who watches this is just to seek and share positive information. You have no idea what an effect that can have on the person that sees your post on Facebook or the person you talk to in your office that day. We heard a good story recently where Bailey's Jewelry, the manager was telling me that every morning they now start their day with sharing they go around the room and everyone shares something positive that they've learned about this community. And they said they feel so much more engaged, so much more positive. They have things to talk about with their customers. Those little things go a really long way, and that's what this is all about.
Well, I want to thank you all for the efforts that you've put into this, and it's good to see it all come together. It really is. So any additional comments that you might have?
Well, I think one of the most pleasant surprises Dorsey and I've had out of this whole effort was how lucky we were to be able to connect with so many people in smaller markets that we don't normally connect with, and we've had a wonderful time. We've been to Rotary clubs and chamber meetings and all sorts of sessions and explaining the program, and we have a terrific group of people living in Nash and Edgecombe counties. It's 152,800.
There you go.
Dorsey found
He
that
knows them all.
factoid. But we do. We have a wonderful group of people, and they're all. And the good news is they're all as committed, whether they live in one of the small towns or the big city in the Twin Counties. They're all committed to the same message. Let's get together. Let's make it better for all of us.
Okay.
And here's to success.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you both
Thank
for
you.
joining me on City Beat. We'll be right back. Don't forget the website, herestosuccess.org. We'll be back with Pam Casey and Daryl Struthers to talk about the Ambassadors Program. More of City Beat coming up next.
23,000 students are taught by 1,500 teachers in all of the public and private schools in Edgecombe and Nash. We don't kid around when it comes to education.
3,000 passenger trains carried 1.6 million people through the Twin Counties last year. You can say our railroad tracks are the ties that bind Edgecombe and Nash together.
Hello and welcome back to City Beat. We are your central source of news and information for the city of Rocky Mount. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan Norman, and this show is all about creating a positive image for our city. And a part of that is the Ambassadors Program. And joining us today to talk about that are Pam Casey, our city clerk, as well as Daryl Struther, Electrical Distribution Manager for the Energy Resources Department.
That's correct.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
But I know Pam has joined us before when you assumed the city clerk position.
That's right.
And that's been how long now?
2 years as of July 1st.
Wow, that long. Daryl, this is your first time on the show with me.
Yes, it is.
So thanks so much for being a part of City Beat today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Ambassadors Program, you all have been places talking about this program, but for those who don't know about it just yet, as well as Don and Dorsey have talked about it too, tell me what the Ambassadors Program is, Pam, and what your goals are.
So the Ambassadors Program is under the umbrella of the Positive Image Group. And we were charged with training frontline service workers on the positives of the region. So a lot of people don't realize, probably those workers don't realize how important they are. They set the whole tone with how someone feels about their visit to an establishment. So for example, if you go to a restaurant and you are served by someone with a smile, that immediately sets your tone as to how that visit's going to be. And so if you are treated that way, for example, if someone says to you, "What are you doing here in Rocky Mount?" and then the response is, "Why on earth are you here? You could be anywhere. What are you doing in Rocky Mount?" It kind of sets a tone, and so those people are so important to get the word out about how wonderful the place they live is, because Rocky Mount is a fabulous city.
And you know, a lot of times we don't think about that, but that is so true. Have any of you ever experienced a situation where you've had a frontline worker come to you and say something positive or negative about the city before you got into this program or got involved with this group?
I think we all have, and I don't think that that is just Rocky Mount. I think pretty much wherever you go, particularly young people want to get out of wherever they're living, and they're very vocal about it. So a lot of the adults still do the same thing, but after Dr. Johnson's Twin Counties competitiveness study, that is one of the things that identified is that's the worst thing we can do for the place that we live. It's a little like bad-mouthing your family. And so we all know that we shouldn't do that, but we're not told that we shouldn't talk bad about the place we live. But it really does hurt our community when people talk bad about it. And a lot of times it's just opinion. It's not even the truth. It's just your opinion and how you feel that day. So when we really think about that, you know, it's like our mama told us, if you can't say something good, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, we all heard about that. But
I know a lot of times when I travel, I will also go to some of the frontline workers, and I'll ask them what there is to do in the city. And most times, I always get a very positive response. Oh, there's this, or there's that. And they're really excited about their community. And by doing so, it just makes me interested more in what they've got going on there.
So what was your motivation, Daryl, behind getting involved with the Ambassadors Program?
Well, a few years ago when the city was undergoing the visioning process, I was in one of the visioning circles, and out of the circle I was in, the ambassadors program or concept idea came about. And once they announced the different projects that they were going to be undertaking, and an ambassadors program was one of those, I wanted to see that actually go ahead and become to just see what it was going to be about and help make it work.
And what do you hope participants will gain from the program?
Well, one, just like Pam said, just have a positive outlook on the community and be able to share some positive ideas. By being able to learn more about the community and being able to share that with people who may have an interest and have them become excited about the community.
And both of you can probably speak to this as well, because one of the very creative things that I heard about the program was that you'll be taking folks on tours as well. Tell me a little bit about that, Pam.
We definitely will. So when the Ambassadors Program first begun, we really threw a lot of mud on the wall. We weren't sure how to do this thing we were charged with doing, which is training frontline service workers, because restaurants have their own training program, so we weren't sure how it was we were going to do this. And we talked about it, and one of the things that the group talked about that they enjoyed and learned the most from was field trips. So we decided to make it a field trip, and are hoping that restaurant owners and managers will see that as something that will benefit them, because as their people are more familiar with the area, they can better talk to it. So when someone said to me, "Have you seen the Art of the Brick?" I said, "I believe it's a really great exhibit. I've heard it's a great exhibit. It's nationally known, and I look forward to seeing it. I believe it's about Legos." And I say that before I saw it. After I saw it, I will tell you a whole different story about it, because it is amazing. There is a dog, a real life-size dog made out of Legos. There's a red dress made out of Legos. It is just something that you would have to see to be able to explain it. And I'm hoping that when people on this tour walk away from the tour, they will say to people, "Man, you just won't believe what we saw when we went down to the Douglas block and saw that fabulous streetscape down there," and other places that they're going to see, because we do talk about it differently when we've seen it ourselves.
That is so true.
It is. And when they have that experience, that excitement comes through. So when they're talking about it, they're talking about something they know, and people feel that energy and they want to get excited about it as well.
Exactly. So the stories will definitely change for those workers once they experience this tour.
Most definitely.
And we have to keep in mind, it's not just the city of Rocky Mount involved with this visioning process, but also Nash and Edgecombe counties as well. So on that tour, Daryl, what are some other stops other than Pam mentioned Douglas Block, Imperial Center? What are some other locations?
Well, Wesleyan College was one of the sites that the committee selected that they thought was impressive enough to try to be part of this. We realized we were limited on the amount of time, but we think we've got a broad area going through the Brew Mill project out by the Nash Hospital and the hotel complex out on the west side of town. But again, we're covering a really, I think, a large area, but doing it quickly enough, and it's just the Rocky Mount area. There will be other tours, one that concentrates on more Nash County items and one on Edgecombe County items as well.
Okay, got it. Now, about how long is the tour? Because you mentioned it could be lengthy.
Yeah, we were trying to keep it under about an hour,
Okay.
but it's actually going to work out to be more like about an hour or 15. And to be honest, it will kind of depend on the people that are a part of that tour, the questions and the things that they are interested in as we go past on the route. So it could, but about an hour 15, I think will be a safe bet.
Okay, so you're not actually stopping, going inside these facilities. It's more of a guided kind of tour.
For the most part, but the Imperial Center is one we felt that we really needed to stop. And we're hoping that after that they'll come back and they'll look at some of the other places and take some more time to spend with those other places.
Okay, so how did you as a group come up with those locations, Pam?
So the Ambassadors group is a larger group, and we split up into subcommittees from that group, and those subcommittees determine the locations. So we now have representatives from Nash and Edgecombe County. We're very excited about that.
Good.
And so it's important to note that while this first tour is of Rocky Mount, that is simply because most of the people that are serving on the Ambassadors Program turned out to be Rocky Mount employees.
Yes.
So Rocky Mount is what we know. And that is how Rocky Mount began to be the first tour. Although we did talk about trying to do a location in Nash County, a location in Rocky Mount, and a location in Edgecombe County for the first tour, but it quickly became apparent to us that there's just too much mileage in between. So the better use of our time would be to focus on each area separately.
That's right.
So that's where we're going from that. And I want to make it clear that the tour is of all three areas. So we don't consider the tour complete until someone has taken the tour of Rocky Mount, the tour of Nash County, and the tour of Edgecombe County. So it is meant to be one tour in three parts.
And like Pam said, there are people from Nash County, and they're working on the Nash County tour, and the people from Edgecombe are working on the Edgecombe County tour, because they can best tell that story better than we can.
And so what are the dates for the tours right now? Have you set those yet?
Well, the first one is September 22nd, and that really will be focused towards the hospitality industry, like we said. And there'll be a 10 o'clock, a 12:30, and a 3 o'clock tour.
Gotcha. And then the second one?
Well, we're hoping it's going to be that Nash County one, because I think they're right now a little further along than Edgecombe County.
Okay.
And I don't think they've set the date yet, but we hope it to
Gotcha.
be very soon after this 22nd.
Okay. And so once you do all three stops, then does that end the tour itself, or will you begin to repeat it?
We're certainly hoping that it will be a repeat. So after the tour on the 22nd, the group will come back together, all of the group, the Ambassadors Original Committee, with the addition of the subcommittees with Edgecombe County and Nash County. And there will be some tweaks that need to be made. The Rocky Mount tour will be the learning tour, and so we will get back together and polish it up, take off the jagged edges, and then roll it out again with the Nash County and Edgecombe County, whichever one comes to the plate first. Gotcha. And so we're very excited about it. So we really hope to see it expand to be maybe something that will be a Sunday afternoon thing that people can sign up and take their families. There's already some tours happening that the downtown manager, John Gesso, is doing. And those tours have focused on high school reunions. And they have, I think he's done maybe 4 or 5 of those at this stage. And people are very excited about them. I'd love to see it catch on for that to happen. And also, frontline personnel is our focus right now, the hospitality industry. But also it would be great if the larger companies, there are a lot of people who work in Rocky Mount but don't live in Rocky Mount, and when you work somewhere and you live another place, it's difficult to really see that place where you work. So we're hoping that some of the employees that are working here but not living here will want to take the tour, and maybe that will change their minds about wanting to live, work, and play in Rocky Mount.
And Pam and I went on a trial run of the tour that is coming up for the tour guides, and I've been here a little over 13 years, but I still learned some things on this that were unknown to me, and it was so I think it'll be very interesting to even Rocky Mount natives.
Well, I am so happy that this is coming to fruition. I remember when you all were trying to think of ideas, we thought about videos and all that stuff, but I think this is one of the most innovative ideas that you could have come up with.
There's been so many people involved in it. Really, anything that has ever succeeded has not been done by 1 or 2 people. It's been done by a large group. And when it first started and the study circles were formed, some of those people have stepped away, other people have stepped up, and so the people have changed out, but all of the people who have been involved from the very beginning are responsible for any of the positive reactions that we're getting. So I really just want to thank anyone who's been involved in any aspect of it, because it's taken us all to get this far.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on the
Tamika.
show. Looking forward to
thank
hearing
you.
more about these tours. And thank you as well for tuning into City Beat. I told you this show was all about positive image. So when we come back in just a moment, we're going to speak with some members of our Community Anti-Litter Coalition. I'm Tamika Keenan-Norman. We'll be right back.
When a child or teenager says, "There's nothing to do in the Twin Counties," why don't you say, "Which of the 1,500 youth programs in Edgecombe and Nash should I sign you up for?"
I love running the 4-mile Tar River Trail as it follows the waterway across Edgecombe and Nash counties. And there's a 20-mile paddle trail that joins the Twin Counties together.
Hello and welcome back to City Beat. I'm your host, Tamika Keenan-Norman, and if you're just tuning into our show today, it's all about creating a positive image for Rocky Mount. And of course, a big part of that is keeping our city clean. And just recently, a new initiative was established, our Community Anti-Litter Coalition. And joining me to talk a little bit more about that, we've got Chris Miller, our councilwoman, also Tim Dutton, who's the owner of Carolina Tire in Rocky Mount, and Cornelia McGee, who's the coordinator for Keep America Beautiful. So thanks to you all for joining me on the show today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, I've never had this many guests at one time, so this is great. But we're going to start things off. Ms. Miller, tell me, what is the Community Anti-Litter Coalition and what are your goals?
It is a group of people who are all concerned about the prevalence of litter in our community and concerned that we need to do something about that because of its adverse impact on tourism and on the perception of our community to prospective employers when they come to the city.
Now, you said a group of people.
Yes.
Who is the members of the coalition?
Okay, well, of course, Tim and Cornelia, and then we have Alec Bonchek, but the Travel and Tourism, and Teresa Pinto with the Chamber of Commerce. From the city, we have, besides Cornelia, we have Jonathan Boone, he's Public Works Director, and to whom she reports, and then Assistant City Manager Tom Moten. There's Sheila from the Dunn Center, the director there, and let's see, Mark Wilson with the Rocky Mount Telegram, and DOT's representative for this area, Gus Tullis.
Okay.
So did I mention Mark Wilson? I did.
Yeah, so a lot of different people representing many different organizations,
right,
which is very important. And I had an opportunity to speak with them all, very passionate about this as well. Tim, you kind of got the conversation rolling with this. Tell me a little bit about that, what you talked to Ms. Miller about, and why this coalition is so important for you as well.
Well, I just called Chris to ask if she had noticed that the problem of litter seems to be an increasing issue, and I was wondering if anybody else had brought up that point. So she let me know that I was not alone in my concerns, which I feel like litter is becoming an epidemic. But the thing about the coalition is, you know, we've all got different insights on the issue. We have various resources, so by working together, we got a much better shot at doing something to combat litter.
So true. Now, Carolina Tire, where is that located?
We're on Westland Boulevard. We're about halfway between Golden East and Bowling Alley. And I think that it's probably one of the most littered streets in the city. It used to get picked up by the ladies from Fountain Corrections, but they're not there anymore. So the litter's just accumulating, and the problem is definitely getting worse. It's just no one's picking it up. So it's becoming more and more of an issue.
Yeah, Fountain Correctional, that's something we've definitely been missing in this area. Those ladies did a great job with litter. Keep America Beautiful is also doing a great job as well. Cornelia McGee is with us. Like I said a little bit earlier, tell us a little bit about what Keep America Beautiful is and what you've done up to this point to combat litter.
Okay, Keep America Beautiful of Nash and Edgecombe counties is a local certified affiliate of Keep America Beautiful Incorporated. Originally founded here in the Twin County area in 1987 and was known as the Clean Team at that time. The City of Rocky Mount, Nash County, and Edgecombe County fund the Keep America Beautiful program, while local businesses, civic groups, and others also contribute to the program, and that's what makes KB so great. Keep America Beautiful encourages the removal of litter through the various programs: the Spring Great American Cleanup, which is a cleanup effort done March 1st through May 31st. Then we also sponsor or partner with the Pamlico Tar River Foundation to sponsor the annual Riverkeeper Cup Cleanup Challenge, which is normally in April. And then in the fall of the year, coming up, September 18th through October 17th, we will sponsor the Twin Counties Big Sweep Cleanup. And that's an opportunity for the community to get involved with that effort. And last but not least, you can also participate annually with the Keep America Beautiful Adopt a Spot, Adopt a Street program, which is very similar to the NCDOT Adopt a Highway program, where you can do an adoption. And that's a continuous effort.
Okay, so we're right around the time, Twin Counties Big Sweep Cleanup Challenge. Did I get that right?
Yes,
you said
you
so
did.
many things. Okay, so tell me a little bit about that, because that's just not land, right?
Right. The Twin Counties Big Sweep Challenge will be a combination of land and river cleanup. However, the focus will be on Saturday, October 3rd, which will be the date of the challenge. The focus will be more on drawing attention to focusing on the areas that are heavily littered here in our community. So volunteers would meet at the City of Rocky Mount Environmental Services Building at 8 a.m. to receive their cleanup assignments to go to a designated site to clean up the litter in those areas. And the challenge is actually a cool event because it's a one-day event that's being held in conjunction with the Twin Counties Big Sweep. But also, you know, there'll be opportunities for volunteers to win prizes.
So prizes, we're talking about monetary prizes
Yes.
as well, right? I know
Yes.
folks will get excited about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we've been blessed and fortunate enough with the support of the Community Anti-Litter Coalition and local businesses support to be able to provide these prizes for this event. There are 5 different categories where you have the opportunity to win prizes. One being the most heaviest weight litter item. The second one being the most unusual item. Boy, it's so many. I'm trying to think of all of them now. Third, and please help me out, guys, there's one for 10 baggers. For every 10 bags that you retrieve, you have an opportunity to enter your name or your group's name for an entry in a prize drawing. And then neighborhood groups, we're also encouraging them to participate. Neighborhood groups that are registered with the City of Rocky Mount Human Relations Department also have the opportunity to participate in this effort. And I believe the only one that I missed the category was for as the most heaviest weight item.
Gotcha. That's a lot of different ways to win. And if folks didn't remember all of that because you said a mouthful,
oh yes,
it's on our website, RockyMountNC.gov. They can go to the Keep America Beautiful page, and what you just said is outlined as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so chance to win some cash. That is wonderful,
Yes.
and you can keep your city clean at the same time.
Yes.
By the way, you talked about all of your efforts, but what has the city contributed annually for cleanup efforts as well?
Well, the City of Rocky Mount contributes annually approximately $125,000 for its litter cleanup efforts in the city.
Okay, so back to you, Tim. What can folks do? How do you want folks to volunteer and help out with this effort?
Well, there's plenty of ways they could help. For one thing, they could sign up for the Big Sweep, win some cash, and help clean up. What Cornelia mentioned about adopting a street, you can do that through the state or through the city. And there's various ways of doing that. You can do it as an individual. You could do it collectively as a group, like a church group, civic group. A family can adopt a street. I've seen it done as a memorial for someone who's deceased to recognize them. You could come to our meeting. We have a meeting once a month, and we're just getting started, so we're open for suggestions.
That sounds good. Chris, we're almost towards the end of our interview, but I want you to leave a message. What message do you want to send our viewers about why keeping our city clean is so important?
Well, I relate it and compare it to our homes. We all care about the appearance of our homes being neat and clean and attractive for our families and also for our visitors when they come. It's the same thing should be true for the city. And when visitors come here, they get an impression about how the community cares about their home. So if they come and see a lot of litter, they think we're a don't care area. And this tourism is a big deal in our community. I mean, we have just millions. I have some statistics down here if we have time to share them. We employ 3,220 people in our twin counties with a total payroll of $58.07 million. That's in the travel and tourism business alone. And that I said 3,220 people. And we collect approximately $8 million in local taxes from sales and property tax from travel related and travel supported businesses. But everybody talks about our area needing jobs, needing more places for people to work and make a living. Well, when companies come here to consider relocating and they see our neighborhood, our streets, and what they look like, that tells them about our people and their standards. And we need to be sure that the appearance of our streets reflects our pride in our community, our work habits, and all those things.
Exactly. Didn't realize we had so many folks coming to the area.
Yeah, and it's really grown, of course, since the sports complex has come in, and then we hope with the sports facility downtown.
Yeah, a lot of folks coming, so we got to put our best foot forward.
Sure, absolutely.
Any other comments that you all have in regards to the Community Anti-Litter Coalition or message we want to send to our viewers?
Well, I have a personal goal that we could do something to end up making Rocky Mount be known as the cleanest city in the state. I think that would be great.
That would be
It
wonderful.
sure would. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Miller, Tim Dutton, Cornelia McGee. Thank you for joining us on the show today. We appreciate having you here. Don't forget as well that you can visit the website RockyMountNC.gov. Go to the Keep America Beautiful webpage, and you can find all that information Cornelia talked about and that we talked about today as well. Thanks for tuning in about our show on positive image. And don't forget as well, we talked earlier about the visioning process. If you need more information about that, visit the website at twincountiesvision.org. I'm Tamika Keenan Norman, and this is City Beat.